Welcome to the Baron's Hideout podcast. I'm your host, Dustin,
And I'm your co-host Aaron.
and today we're going to be talking about WolfCop. And this is Aaron's first viewing, like a lot of these. I personally really enjoy this movie. It's
Me too.
super cheesy. It's low budget. The writing's very good for something very low budget. The effects in this movie are very good, especially for something being low budget. I think a couple of sequels to this. I know there's a Wolf Cop 2, but I'm not sure if there's a Wolf Cop 3 or anything further than that. But this is a very good movie, and I would love to see this in a comic book form. Like if someone made
That
like
would
a
be cool.
comic, that'd be super cool. But yeah, this movie is very, very fun. It's very short. It's like an hour and 20 minutes.
I think
So
yeah, not even. I think it's like an hour and 18 or 19
yeah,
or
something like that.
something.
So if you want something
Yeah.
short and quick and straight to the point, this is definitely a movie that you're going to enjoy, and especially for like werewolves, really good special effects, pretty good writing, and blood. There's a lot of blood in this movie and a lot of other crazy things that happen. But before we jump into that, we just go through our socials real quick as usual. For everybody who doesn't know, we do live stream all of our episodes on Twitch every Saturday at 9 p.m. or a little bit earlier. So we're actually recording this the same time we did prom night. So we're doing a double feature tonight for everybody, just to kind of make up for last week, to have something for the weekend and then midweek, and then we'll be back strong next week. I think Wolf Cop is actually, no, I lied. There's actually one more movie we're doing after Wolf Cop.
For camp.
For our first month of Camp, and that's going to be Chopping Mall. So we're going to be doing that next weekend, which I'm super excited for. I love Chopping Mall. Aaron, I don't think you've ever seen Chopping Mall,
Not yet.
right? But you've been wanting to watch it.
Yeah.
So this is going to be really fun
I've
to
been
do with
waiting
you.
for this moment.
It's very good. I love Chopping Mall. So our socials, you guys can come over here and join us live on Twitch, which is just twitch.tv/the Barons Hideout _podcast. Or you can follow us on Twitter, which
Facebook,
is
TikTok.
everything. Everything is either the Barons the Barons Hideout _podcast, which is our Instagram, and then all of our other socials
This is
are
BHO _podcast.
the BHO _podcast, which is Twitter, TikTok, and then we also have a Patreon. So if you guys do want to support us and get all the episodes early and a lot of other really cool perks, like getting our notes, and if you want to see how we do our notes, which is very hectic, but it's kind of cool to get an insight of like how people do things.
Yeah.
So you can go and do that. All you gotta do is pledge $1 to get all of the formats early, which is audio and video. Those will be released the night of the stream. And one other thing that I did, we talked about this last episode, is that I made all of our VODs subscriber only. So if you guys don't want to have to go to a different platform or have to listen to it on Spotify or YouTube or anything like that, you guys can subscribe to our channel here, and you can watch this VOD or any of the previous ones for just a subscription, which is like $5. But I think personally I would go and do the Patreon because it's $1 versus $5. But I mean, hey, I'm not
Plus,
here
you'll
to
also be
judge.
joining Spencer Charnas of Ice 9 Kills as a
Yes.
subscriber
Yeah,
to our
he's
Patreon.
still supporting us. Like he didn't
So-
cut off after the first time he did it, which is it's pretty cool that we have, I think, 4 or 5 followers on there that support us. I think it's been what, 3 months like throughout, which is really, really cool. So thank you guys so much for doing that. You can also go and watch all of our stuff on YouTube, which is just the Barons Hideout _podcast, and that's everything that's released the next day. So this episode of Wolf Cop will be airing. I'm probably gonna do it Wednesday, either Tuesday or Wednesday of this week. Kind of do it midweek, have a little buffer, and to make up for last week, and then we'll be coming back on Saturday to do Chopping Mall, and then after that, we're gonna be getting a whole new set of our next month of Camp, leading up to us doing all the Halloween movies, which I cannot wait to do this. We're probably going to revisit Halloween again, even though we did it
The first episode,
the
right?
first episode, but we might go and redo it since we are a little bit more comfortable now with how we do things, and we probably just get new notes, or maybe we won't even do notes. Maybe we'll just do it off memory.
Just revisit it, yeah.
Because we've seen this movie, so at least
I've seen it a few times.
Shit ton of times, and I am so excited. So we're gonna be doing that leading up to Halloween Kills, and I cannot wait for that movie.
Oh yeah, I'm excited.
But Aaron, let everybody know where they can find you.
You can find me. Excuse me. Find me. Brain fart. You can find me on Instagram. I mostly post updates about the podcast the night of. The occasional kitten picture. You can find me at AROWBHO. It's AROWEBHO. So feel free to give me a follow if you like kitties and horror movies.
Yes, and another thing we like to shout out is some Liquid Death. We do like to support them as much as we can because they have amazing water. They have really good.
I have a hat on the way too.
Oh, you do? Nice. I have a couple of shirts, but unfortunately have to be washed, and I do have their poster right here. You guys can kind of see it. I also have their Dead Till Death poster. I gotta put up somewhere. I'm running out of wall space. I have my son stuff over there, and my drum set behind Aaron's laptop. So yeah, wall space is definitely running low. But that's completely fine. I think that's pretty much it, right? Other than like talking about where you guys can get shirts, which I don't really push that hard. But if you guys do want to support us,
we do have a Teespring store.
Yeah, if you want to support us even further and you guys want to get some merch, we have a couple of designs up there, and I'm actually gonna have to add all the new revamped stuff that we have over there because the logo is fucking sick.
Oh, I know.
I love our logo so much. Thank you so much to Barely Lethal. So if you guys can reach him out on Twitter or anything, it's Barely, spelled BARLY _ lethal LETHAL. He's amazing. So if you guys are a streamer and you're looking for some branding or anything like that, if you want some emotes, he's amazing to work with. Super high quality. He does everything himself. He doesn't have anybody out. He doesn't outsource anything. He does everything by hand. And he does it for like a week straight until he gets everything perfect. And I'm so happy with how everything came out. I love the colors. Everything is mint. It makes us feel very professional. I feel very professional now. Before I was like, okay, whatever. Our logo wasn't. I'm not gonna say it was bad. I thought it was pretty good, but it was very minimal. And this is more articulate. I guess you could say, but
I feel like it showed, like I said before, the last episode, like it gives off the vibe more of the show. I feel like.
Yeah, exactly.
It gives it more pop and zing,
Yeah. But that's pretty much it for all of our rebranding and our socials and everything. So I think right now we are going to jump into WolfCop. Aaron, I know you started last time, so I will start.
Alrighty.
So this is a movie I think came out in 2014 or 15, one of those. So it's a fairly new movie. So we start off with some rock music going on and a montage of a guy running through the woods
and various other creepy images.
Yeah, we get people in like cloaks and people being like killed and weird shit. So we get that. That's like about a minute. Then we jump to a very messy apartment. I think it's an apartment. Maybe it's a house. I'm not sure. But we just see like bottles and clothes everywhere, and then a naked girl in a bed, and then a guy like wake up because his alarm's going off, and he's like, "Oh shit,
I gotta go."
So he's getting on his clothes, and we figure out that he is a cop. And the girl wakes up, and he's just like, "Yeah, whatever." So he gets to his car, and before he drives off, he's
gonna vomit.
He throws up. So he definitely had a rough night, I would say.
At the very least.
Yeah. And he's driving to work, and we get some. He's listening to the radio, so it's like I don't think we ever know. Do we get told who the people are? No, it's what Eclipse Radio or something, whatever
like
the station's
Bad Radio,
called.
I think it was called.
Yeah, something like that. So they're talking about this annual thing that they have, which is a drink and shoot. Not entirely sure what it is. I guess it's just a bunch of drunk people, and then they shoot shit. But now they're talking about that, and also how there's a bunch of dogs being killed, and there's like people going missing, and there might be some kind of wild beast out there or whatever. So we're listening to that as the main character Lou is going to work, and he shows up, and then I think, is it the sheriff? It has to be the sheriff, right?
Yeah, he's part of the sheriff's department. I think his boss is the sheriff.
Yeah, I think because on his door it says chief, I think.
Yeah.
I called him the sheriff because I mean he's like the only person that we see. But yeah, he's pretty much there, and the sheriff's like saying like you're late and whatnot, and like how his coworker, who is the other deputy, Tina, was supposed to be relieved of her night shift like what 2 hours before.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, whatever. And then he's like, well, you need to talk to her to get your debriefing so she can go home. So she says, well, there was a robbery last night. And he's like, oh, okay. And who was it? And she's like, piggies. And I think we get a little bit of the camera footage or whatever of them like robbing whatever.
Yeah.
So they hit a gas station, and then she says, well, you need to go talk to Willie, because what the hell is that?
It was a disturbance at the gun shop. That's
that's what it is. So he has to go. He's like, you gotta go talk to your best friend Willie. So we see his sign, which is, instead of it just being a normal gun shop with a sign on it, it's TNT Gun Shop. And we get introduced to Willie. I love this character immediately.
Oh my God, me too.
He is so like upbeat and hilarious, and like you know that I don't want to say comic relief, but like he's the comic relief of this movie because he's so fucking
just
funny.
His reactions to like to the things that happen in this movie, it just
yeah.
me every time.
He's like, okay, well, I gotta come show you like what's going on with this disturbance and whatnot. So he sees Lou goes in the back with Willie, and he shows him a tape, and he's like, what the hell am I looking at? And he's like, you see that? That's a double sign, and it's like a pentagram
carved into a tree.
And he's like, it's just kids, Willie. And he's like, do you believe in the occult? He's like, not really. And then as he's walking away, he's like, remember the boy who cried wolf? He's like, yeah, well, he didn't cry. Or he has like some sort of line that it's...
he says, remember, he says, yeah, something along those lines. Remember what happened to the boy who cried wolf.
Yeah.
But yeah. And you guys, he made one other comment too. He's like, have you never heard of heavy metal before?
Yeah. He's like,
no.
What's that? He's like, oh boy. So then Lou, I believe, walkies the chief and lets him know like what's going on, and he's like, yeah, I'm following up a lead. But where is he? He's at the Tooth and Nail bar. It's like, yeah, that's a good lead, man. So he's just at the bar talking to the bartender
while on call. Just...
Yeah. Jess.
Oh, sorry, good.
No, go ahead. What are you saying?
I was gonna say, I love how like it's like a normal thing too, because she's like, just the usual.
Yeah, it's like, okay, so this guy goes
as soon as he walks in.
Clearly a drunk, but he's, I guess, a functioning drunk, sort of. So he's a cop, so he has to have some sort of functionality, you know.
Yeah.
So we get introduced to Jess, and then I think we get a glimpse of like the rough group.
Yeah,
we don't really...
the gangsters of the town.
Yeah,
I just called him a shady fellow with a trench coat.
Yeah, because we don't really get his name other than Boss.
Yeah.
So
What's up, boss?
What's up, boss? Yeah. So he's there and just talking, and then we get, I guess, a person who's running for mayor, Terry Wallace.
Yep.
And he's in there preaching and saying like, oh, I'm gonna change this, and all this stuff needs to stop and whatnot. But people are throwing like popcorn and beer and nuts and shit at him, and he's like, okay, well, I'm leaving. So that we get introduced to him very, very quickly.
Yeah.
And this movie is very fast paced. Like
if
you really want a movie that's just straight to the point, things happen.
Or just like a quick watch that's like, it's got a little bit of everything, and it's got the humor, it's got the horror, the gore, but it's also it's got the
very
action.
comic booky. Yeah. That's why I'm saying this would be
a great
comic book.
Yeah.
So you guys need to get on that. There's definitely a couple of movies that they probably could continue the lore if they wanted to. I haven't seen the other one, so I'm not sure how it ends, but I mean, maybe, I don't know, other type of wolf cops? Yeah. Who knows? Other people that aren't just Lou? That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, right. But, yeah.
I can let you take it from here for a little bit if you want, Aaron.
Yeah. So the mayor gets booed out of the bar, or the wannabe mayor,
Yeah, one of
And-
the people that people need to vote for. Those people.
But yeah, so Lou, he's back at the station, and the sheriff is giving him a hard time for not doing his job and just being, just a fucking slacker.
Yeah.
But so he tells him there's another call. He tells him to go check out what's going on in the woods for Willie, and so he ventures on.
You need to go out there, dude.
Yeah, you need to go out there and do something. So he goes out into the woods at night. And he's got this little ass flashlight. But he ends up finding a bong and some other stuff, and he picks up a porno mag.
Yeah.
He's just like,
man.
oh, okay, yeah, it's gotta be teenagers. And then he hears screaming. He draws his gun instantly.
I probably would too, to be honest.
Oh yeah. And then he goes to find Terry hanging from a tree.
I thought he said Jerry.
That's what I thought.
I was like, cause we go to the scene after. I was like, did he say Jerry? I'm like, who the fuck is Jerry?
Yeah. But it turns out it's Terry.
It's Terry. Terry, Jerry. I guess they sound exactly the same.
But so he's like, Terry, what's going on? He's like, right behind you, and he ends up getting knocked out by some figures with masks and robes.
Mm-hmm. I probably would shit myself.
Yeah. So he wakes up. He's looking rough. And you can see a little blood on his shirt.
And some flashbacks too, right? Like
Yeah,
he kind of like
gets like
knows
quick,
what
like,
happened,
but doesn't at the same
doesn't
time.
at
He's
the
like
same
disoriented, yeah. But yeah, it's like flashbacks, quick like little clips of what he experienced the night before. But he ends up finding a pentagram carved into his chest.
Yeah, and like he's shaving and his hair's
Yeah,
growing
shaving.
back.
It's like it gets like this like super. This is a cool scene too, though, where like it
Yeah.
shows his hair growing like on a microscopic level. They
Yeah,
look like little spikes coming up.
and
It's
like
kinda
you
cool.
know something's wrong with him too, because like they're making us feel like what he's feeling. So he's got like super heightened senses and everything, like, hearing and like his
Smells
touch and
and-
smell and everything.
yeah.
It's like super heightened, and
Um,
also with like the beard, growing back
Yeah.
immediately.
Yeah, right. Kind of reminds me of like that one scene where I zoomed in on his hair. Reminds me of like in the first Spider-Man when he first gets the things in his fingers.
Oh
and he's like,
yeah,
"Whoa."
yeah. Yeah,
Um,
that's a good way to put it. Yeah,
But
the little grabbers.
yeah, the grabbers.
I don't know what to call them.
I like it.
Sticky thingies.
Sticky. I like it. Yeah, he finds a pentagram carved into his chest. He's got super heightened senses. He's like, I'm just fucking drunk.
I like how he's just like he looks at the carving and says like,
Just
whatever.
another night for me.
Alright, something happened last night.
I got involved in the wrong crowd last night.
It's like, geez, man, I would be freaking out. Like, what the
I know, right?
fuck?
That shit gotta hurt. But so he heads to work. He's outside. And this fucking dude's like out there with his dog. He like kicks his dog. Piece of shit.
Oh my, it's so bad, but it's kind of funny.
It is. And he's
It's
like,
like-
hey, don't do that. And he's just like,
And he's like, why not? Grr.
and he's just like, yeah, whatever. And he just drives off.
It's like, oh, so growling at people gets people to kind of like stop doing
Back
things.
off.
So I'm gonna start doing that in real life
And
now.
it's, hey, excuse
I'm gonna act
That
very
works.
feral.
excuse me, can you help me find Okay.
It's like, what the fuck, man. Where's the manager? I'm the manager.
Okay. I'll just walk away now. But he's super sensitive to all the surrounding noises. He's hearing cars and the dogs barking, everything. Like a dog or a wolf. So he heads back into work. And the police, they end up finding Terry in the woods the next morning. Appearing
Poor
to
Terry.
have overdosed. And having like his neck like chewed off.
Yeah, and like they did a really good job of like showing like the
The needle marks and shit.
yeah, it's just like, wow, okay.
But yes.
They do a lot of good with the details in this
They
movie
do.
with everything. Special effects, even like the photography is very good. I love how everything's shot. I love the colors in this movie too. Even though it seems like it's very gray, but it's not. There's a lot of colors.
Yeah.
A lot of blues, There's a little bit of reds, a lot of purples in this movie that I really
Yeah.
like, and I like
I
purple.
like it though. I love purple.
It's very good, and I mean, look at our logo. I love it. There's a lot of
Yeah.
purple in that.
I think that's probably why I liked it so much, just because it had the purple in it, and
Yeah.
that just like drew me to it. But
It looks great, man.
yeah. So they see him with a needle in his arm, and his neck is chewed out, and then the coroner arrives. This motherfucker walks in with a coffee. He's chewing a donut. He's checking out the body. And,
It's so casual. Man.
yeah, like as if like he's not just looking at a fucking destroyed dead body.
I wonder if that's how they are in real life. Do you
I know,
think
right?
like there's a
I'm
coroner?
sure there
that's,
are
like,
some people that are like that. That way, like shit like that doesn't faze them, you know.
yeah.
But like he puts his donut down in the guy's leg, and he's just like, "Okay, yep, it's an overdose."
Yeah.
I never took him as a drug user.
A lot of good comedy in this movie.
Yeah.
Even though it is technically a horror movie and it is a slasher movie, but there's a lot of good comedy.
Yeah.
Good balance of
Oh, yeah.
everything, to be honest. Writing is really, really good.
It's an overall good experience. But yeah, so now at this point the town has canceled their annual drink and shoot.
And another thing is like the sheriff was like, we got to keep this quiet. And what
Oh,
happens
yeah.
immediately? The news.
Yeah, right.
It's like we were just talking
Keep it
about that
local.
too, you know, like with
Already
prom
on the
night.
radio.
And with prom night, how the guys are like, yeah, we gotta keep this all quiet. But this one, like, it took it another step further. It's like as soon as he said keep it quiet, the news is already there.
Yeah, they're
That
on
day,
that shit.
while they're there. Crazy.
I know. Media for you. Savages.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
Anything to get the clicks.
what's that?
Anything to get the clicks.
No, I know. But the drink and shoot has been canceled.
Aw.
Lou's back at the bar. So he's drinking. There's only like one or two other people there. It's a couple of regulars. Jessica pours him a few shots.
Mhm.
And she's like, "All right, you gotta drink it or drain it. I'm closing early for the night." And the other guy's like, "Why the fuck are you doing that?" And she's like, "It's a private party." And so he fucking chugs his drink. He's like grumbling on the way out. And so she pours him a bunch of shots. She's like, "Oh, that should hold you over here while I'm gone."
Yeah, I know, right?
So she goes back to like do her closing to like sweep and take the trash out, and he drinks his shots, and she comes back. She's like, "All right, well, why don't we get you out of here? Let's get you to bed," because he's like fucking shitted.
Yeah, he definitely looks like he's had a few too many.
Yeah. So they're getting ready to leave, and then she's like kind of coming on to him. They're about to kiss and whatnot, and he's like, he starts to like puke in his mouth. He's like, "I'll be right back." He runs to the bathroom.
This scene is so good.
Oh yeah. But yeah, he ends up puking in the sink, and he has to urinate, like, you know, like all humans.
Mhm.
But only this time it's not quite normal.
No.
So if you want to tell people about this scene, I don't know how much you like it.
Yeah, so this scene reminds me a lot of Ginger Snaps. So if you guys haven't seen Ginger Snaps, go watch that because there's a scene that's kind of similar to this. So Lou, he's draining himself, and as he's doing that, you know, we're focusing on his urine, so it looks normal, and then blood. And then we cut to him holding his dick. Like, you see it, and it's like...
Yeah, ballooning up.
Yeah, it's ballooning up and explodes, and then a fucking hairy dick comes out, and then he, like, starts literally shedding his skin and freaking out while Jess is, like...
She turns on that jukebox, so she doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah, and she's like sweeping and whatnot. And as he's transforming, we get some of the thugs that saw earlier break in and go to the bathroom, but they have no idea what they're getting themselves into because he's like transforming now. He's got his claws, and you see that he's pretty much a werewolf now.
Yeah.
And they go in there, and he just starts ripping him apart. And then there's this one guy who hears his buddies screaming, goes in there, sees the wolf, and he's like, "Oh fuck
He's
this!"
Like, yeah, he dips.
And then he fucking runs off, and then Lou wakes up handcuffed with a dog next to him.
With like pink fuzzy handcuffs too.
Yeah, and he's just like, "What the fuck?" At first, I thought it was Jess's house because I thought maybe Jess.
She's into some kinky shit, you know.
Yeah, and also like saw that maybe he was a werewolf and maybe thought that was
yeah.
the only way to tame him. But nope, it's Willie's place.
Yeah, he calls out for Jess, and Willie walks on in.
Yeah, it's Willie is so good. I'm trying to like think of another character that he reminds me of. There was one Arnold Schwarzenegger movie where it had crap, what's his name from Jackass in it? Freaking
Johnny Knoxville. Ryan
yeah,
Dunn.
Johnny Knoxville. So he reminds. It was an Arnold movie that came out. He was like a cop, and he like ran like a weird museum or whatever it was. I forget what the fuck it was called, but he was in it. And Willie reminds me a lot of that, and it. I don't know. I think it's pretty funny. But yeah, he wakes up and Willie's like, "Oh, I'm gonna get." Is that the movie Knife? The Last Stand?
Maybe. I'm gonna look it up.
If it is, I thank you very much because that's a very good movie. I like that movie a lot. But yeah, Willie wakes him up. It's like, okay, I'm gonna go make you some eggs and whatnot. But he doesn't really address like what happened the night before at all. But like he has speculation, and as he's cooking the eggs, like he's just having a friendly conversation with him, and like, but he also does he bring up that he knows?
Yeah, well, he kind of hints at it, I think, because he's cooking the eggs and he's like, "Oh, my special ingredient."
Yeah, he puts Wolfbane in the eggs, and after that, he shows him a video of him tranking him, like with like 3 or 4 like tranquilizers. He's like, that was you last night. It was you, but in a uniform. And it's pretty funny. He's like, I'm gonna make you some regular eggs now because that's like solidified my theory that yep, you're a werewolf.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he just starts washing his clothes and shit. He's like, "Oh, you shrunk my fucking uniform."
Yeah, so they come up with a plan. It's like, okay, well, I'm marking all of the nights, which is kind of weird. I mean, he kind of already was speculating that there was something weird going on, but to know, because we see like his calendar.
It's got like the phases of the moon.
Yeah, and it's like, so this guy, I guess, does know like what's going on. He's like, okay, well, we got 2 nights left, so the plan is to pretty much lock you up and just watch over you for these 2 nights until the eclipse.
Yeah.
But go ahead, Aaron.
Yeah. And so then Tina arrives. Tina, who is I don't know if we ever got into who she was, but that's his coworker.
Yeah, briefly.
And she's like he's the slacker. She's I'm trying to think of the word for what the opposite, but like the overachiever, I guess. So
yeah, I would say that she's definitely
employee of the month for like a whole year.
For a cop, like why would you have employee of the month? What's going on?
They killed the most people.
Oh my god, yeah.
But
top kills.
Yeah, right. Tina arrives to go pick up Lou. And she's like, "Where the fuck have you been? I looked all over for you." And so how she knew to look at Willie? Well, I guess if they're friends, then that makes sense. But
yeah, I think he even asks her, and she's like,
"You've been spending a lot of time with
Willie."
Yes,
a lot of time with Willie. So I figured that's probably where you would be to, with the leads, with everything that's going on. So
yeah,
she was just making some sort of sense.
Yeah. So she brings him back to the police station. And the sheriff's a fucking dick. Like, he won't... I mean, I understand Lou's, like, an alcoholic cop. He drinks and drives, and he's not a good cop, but cut the guy a little bit of a break.
And it seems like it's a very small town, too. I mean, you only have 2 police officers.
Yeah.
So, I mean...
And it's, like, a lot of crime, because if you, like, in the scenes where he's, like, driving down the street and shit, you see all the fucking thugs and shit. The people
lot of graffiti, too.
Yeah. Like, when they're jumping that one guy and he just looks at him, and they just, like, wave at him. They're just like kicking him. He's like, "Hey." Yeah,
it's just, the comedy in this movie is so good. Please go watch this movie. Seriously.
So, but the sheriff, he was talking to Jess. Actually, no, this is at the bar.
Yes.
So, my bad. But yeah, they're at the bar, the scene of the crime, the bloody bathroom. And the sheriff tells Lou, he's like, "Make yourself useful and walk Jess out to her car." So, he's walking her out on the way out. He walks by the coroner, the same coroner from the movie. He's like, "Oh, hey, Lou." Just so casually, like, just another dead body,
This guy.
This fucking guy walking in, eating another donut. There's a lot of donuts in this town too. They have the liquor donuts.
Yeah, I kind of want to try it.
They have liquor flavored donuts.
That's what I'm thinking. Or they're just calling it liquor donuts because
they sell liquor and donuts.
Yeah.
But yeah,
someone make that.
Yeah, right. But yeah, so he walks over to a car. The coroner arrives. And then they're all in the bathroom examining the bloody scene of Lou's transformation. And there's talking about the crime scene, and then Tina, she pulls up a severed face. And I loved this part so much. She goes, "Oh, hey, this guy kind of looks like you," and she's like holding it above her face. She's doing impressions,
and little does she know it actually is his face, because every time he sheds, like his skin
just fucking
he literally sheds.
Off. Yeah,
that's crazy, man.
Oh, I know.
And
but it looks.
painful. Fresh skin every day.
Yeah, no, imagine. I mean, he must not get acne.
Yeah. Props to him, dude.
Yeah. So, anyway, they get back to the station. He tells her, or no, this is still at the bar.
There's one other really weird thing that she says to the coroner too. Is like, is that animal hair? How are they?
Oh yeah.
You're in a bathroom, blood everywhere, and your first thought is that animal hair?
Well, yeah, maybe that's why it's weird to see in that scene. So it's like she's probably like, why is
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, why would there be animal hair? But
yeah,
you never know in them fucking horror movies.
Yeah, you're telling me.
But yeah, so he decides to give Tina the night off because he knows something's up at this point. He's like, I gotta, and he also wants the station to himself because him and Willie end up.
Yeah, they had the plan.
Yeah.
And like, what's a better way to lock you up than putting you in a cell?
Yeah, right.
But
so, anyway, turns out Trenchcoat Guy sentenced. That's what I called him in all my notes. Trenchcoat Guy.
That is perfect. Trenchcoat Guy. Oh my god, I love that.
Trenchcoat Guy. Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't really have a name, so I mean, it's perfect. Other than the boss.
Yeah. But it turns out he had sent his thugs out to get Lou that night, and that's why they were at the bar.
Yep.
So, the guy who fled from the scene, is reporting back to boss, and, he's like, oh, I'm sorry. He's like, he got away, and he's like, well, why'd you let him get away? Why'd you run away, you little bitch? So he pulls out a switchblade, sticks it in the guy's fucking eye, rips it out, throws it at a wall, and pierces it like a freaking fly with a needle, like like in the movies they'll pin the fly to the fucking wall. So this guy's like missing an eye now, and he's like, don't let it happen again. He's like, use your one good eye, and he's like, are you sure your one eye isn't deceiving you or something like that? But
the special effects are very good in this movie.
Yep.
I'm gonna keep saying it, but it's true.
They are. But then you got like a little montage, like a scene of Lou doing his research on werewolves and the occult.
Yeah, I said Lou is going hard into the werewolf shit. He really is.
Yeah.
At the library and everything.
Yep, and he's in the scene in the fucking library reading. He's like, "You got any books on devil worshipping?"
And they're all like,
and that's a bunch of old people. They're like, But so then we cut to the station that night, and we got Willie and Lou. They decide to lock him in the cell to, keep an eye on him, see what's going on.
With a giant book of the occult.
Yeah, and they got
it's a big ass book.
Oh, I know.
I want it though. I really do. When I go to Salem this week, if I have extra money, there's a couple books that they have that are on like occult, and I really want to get it.
That would be cool.
I think that'd be kind of cool to like also have a segment of that like on here, just like talking about like something like I'll find a topic.
Something out of the book, yeah.
Yeah, maybe do like a read through. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Do that. Maybe I'll do that during the week, and then I can do some with you.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be cool. Just do like a reading session.
Yeah.
It's a lot of cool shit we can do, man.
I
can't wait to just start adding things.
Endless. But yeah, so they lock him in a cell. They set up a camera to, so they can capture it on tape. Sure enough, he turns into a wolf. It's fucking brutal to see.
Yeah, it's like more intense this time.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't see his dick explode or anything, but like you see everything ripping
And then you got Will. He's like, whoa. He's like tripping out.
I would be scared shitless. I want to be like, yo, dude, that's awesome. I would be like,
yeah, right. And then by the time it's he's done though, transforming, he's like, that's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
Shit, I'm not recording. Oh, dude, like classic too, like classic,
right.
classic.
So the first thing he says after he's done transforming, he's like, booze. He like sticks his arms at the cage and he hands him a fucking bottle of whiskey. So Lou comes out of the cell. He puts his uniform on, and they go to a convenience store where the piggies are holding some.
There's a lot of like, you know, obviously themes in this, and they really they try to bring in like the children's story, you know, like the wolves are the three pigs in there, and then we have a little Red Riding Hood that's in here, and then you have the boy who cried wolf. So I love everything that kind of like intertwines in here. So it's like a little bit of everything, but also its own thing at the same time.
Yeah.
And I think it's done very, very well. I
So.
love this movie. And if you guys even want even more like knowledge on this, Joe Bob also did an episode on this.
Oh, did he?
So yeah, you can go and watch that. It's very, very good. You can, if you don't want to watch the movie, he has a thing on Shudder now, which is just I think it's called Just Joe Bob. So it's just his segments without the movie. So I think you could probably go on there and just get that. So if you were interested in that, Aaron or anybody else, go and do that. If you aren't subscribed to Shudder, do it. It's $6 a month, and pretty much all the movies that we do on here are on Shudder. I keep meaning to say that in all the episodes, but I always forget. But if you guys want to support horror, that's the best way to do it, because they do a lot of their own shows and movies and stuff that are just Shudder exclusive.
Yeah.
It's the Netflix of horror.
Basically. But yeah, so they end up going and stopping. Lou stops a robbery, murders these guys as they're like taking the cases of liquor out, and then he goes in and he calls the guy out. He's like, "Who the fuck are you?" He's like, "I'm the Fuzz," which I loved that. It's perfect, the Fuzz.
Dude, comic book, please.
Literally, they're just like catchy, like not pickup lines, but like catchphrases like that. Just,
yeah,
like, witty shit,
one-liners and everything. It's great. It's so actiony and comic and scary at times. It's great.
Yeah. So he stops the robbery though. He shoots the guy, and I think he ripped another guy's head off.
Yeah.
But
and then he makes the last guy, I think, faint, right?
Yeah, that's what it is. He goes up to him, he like appears behind him with a gun to his head. He's like, and the guy just fucking passes out.
He's like, okay, whatever.
And then he leaves. And he gets in the car. He rips the door off. He's like, fuck. He's like, well, look what you did now. He's like, what do you want to do? He's like, he turns over as an auto body shop, and then they just go in this like whole montage of them pimping his fucking ride. Which I think did look pretty cool though.
Yeah, a very good montage. Scene with them just like pimping it out and seeing the final result. I mean, it wasn't like over the top, but it was enough to be like, that's cool.
Yeah,
I want that.
So they pimp out this ride, and they're going around town, and we catch some kids doing graffiti, or I don't know if they were kids or not, teenagers, but
they look like they're probably teenagers.
Yeah. But there were hooligans. They were doing graffiti. And then Lou pulls up and he's like, "It's my turn." And he starts pissing on them.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Ah, fucking burns! It burns!" So, anyway, at this point though in the movie, like I think the mystery of like his dad's death is giving them like this newfound like motivation and like to like make the town better and be a good cop. You know what I mean?
Yeah, which I mean makes sense. He's got the power to do it, and like he's not trying to be bad, but it's like he kind of has to be bad to
get results.
Yeah, and obviously the town's super corrupt and crazy. Yeah. With a lot of like weird shit going on. Even though we don't have a lot of characters in this movie, it feels big.
It does.
You know, it feels like there's a lot of shit going on and a lot of people there, but in reality it's only like 6 like people we focus on really, and that's pretty much about it.
Yeah. But yeah. So then we got Trenchcoat guy hosting a party.
Yep, at the barn.
in his barn, and he whips out some what looks like red meth and starts snorting it.
I just called it red crystals.
Red crystals. But I do remember, if I remember, I think it was early in the movie, they mentioned something about crystallized wolf's blood. So that's what I assumed it was.
Yeah, I mean, if you're paying attention, then yeah, definitely. That's what I was thinking too.
But yeah. So if you want to pick up,
sure.
Yeah.
And we do have a little quick scene of Tina talking to Jess at the bar too before this,
Oh, yeah.
and she just takes her picture back and pretty much calls Jess a bitch, and this runs off and pretty much talks about her dad, and because that was her Tina's dad's bar.
Yeah.
And we have a picture that was on the bar of Tina as a kid, and then and her dad. Yeah, so we have a little bit of that. It's I guess it's important, but it's not like super important.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Lou and Willie are just like driving around, whatever, and Willie's like, we got to go back, man. There's a lot of shit going on, and then Lou sticks his head out the window like a dog, and there's this sniffing. It's like, what do you smell? What do you smell, man? What are you smelling? And then he just drives. He's like, dude, this isn't a road, because he goes off the road and just drives right into the barn. Like he smelled like the meth being cooked and everything, because we see them making it, and he go there, and then we get another scene of Lou just murdering everybody. Like, he rips off arms. I have it written here. So he's bulletproof, by the way. People shoot him and he's bulletproof. It's probably because they're not using silver bullets. He rips off the face of a dude.
This part.
Of the dude. But the guy doesn't die.
I know, he's just screaming the whole time.
It's just, all you see is like
a fucking skeleton moving.
It's just a skull. And he's just running around. He fights a guy with a knife with his fingernails. I think he stabs someone through the chest. He rips up people's arms. And then the skull guy goes over to Willie, and Willie's like, how are you still alive?
And then when he throws the fucking face, it lands in the windshield, and he's like trying to get it with the wiper, and he's like screaming. He's like, ah!
It's great, dude. This movie is so fucking fun. It's so good. And then I think they do something with the meth, and they start a fire, and they're like, we gotta get out of here, dude. And one of the meth cookies like, it's gonna explode. It's gonna explode. He's like running out, and it just blows up. So we have it's kind of a slow motion like explosion too of the barn, and it's very close up, and we see the whole thing just blow up. So everybody who was left in there is dead.
Yeah.
At least we think everybody in there was dead. So then I think
they arrive back at the station.
Yeah, and then I think Tina also gets tipped off that there was another robbery at the store.
Oh yeah, they're at the convenience store where he just was.
Yeah.
And then they get a call about an explosion.
Yeah, and then there's like, who was here? And the clerk is like, it was a big fucking wolf. And they're like, oh, okay. And then they're like, oh, there's an explosion. So they go over there. And then this is one other thing that kind of happens. It's a little minor, but if you didn't catch it, you're obviously gonna miss it. But Willie calls someone on the phone and says this is getting kind of out of control or whatever. So like, he needs help. He's on the phone. I think that's when Lou is killing everybody in the barn.
Yep.
So they go
back. I might have missed that, actually. Yeah.
So he goes back to they go back to the police station to kind of just hold up and, I don't know, lock themselves up again.
Yeah.
But who is there? Jess, dressed up as Little Red Riding Hood, and Willie just kind of leaves him alone because Jess is like, okay, well, I'll take it from here. So right now you're kind of getting confused, like, okay, so Jess did know that he was a werewolf before, or she didn't, or
she just found out
something is going on here, and then they just
suspicious.
They just have some sexy time, and
yeah. And it was all caught on tape too.
Yes, it was. They were being filmed not by Willie's camera, by the security camera. So they have that, but when they're done, doing the do, Jess drugs Lou's drink that knocks him out, and she locks him up, and then we get a reveal that Jess was in fact the mayor all along, and she's old as fuck. Or we think she is, because she is a changeling or a shapeshifter, whatever you want to call it.
Changeling.
And then we find out now that Willie and Jess were working together, and
Yeah,
Jess was the person that Willie was talking to on the phone. And then Tina, I think she shows up at the station. Well, actually, she
They destroyed
sees
the tape.
Yeah.
Because they did record it at first with his camera.
Yeah.
But then they destroyed it. She was like, you know what happened if that got out? And then
Yeah.
Tina comes in.
Yeah, so she saw them take Lou and put him in the hearse, because Willie drives a hearse for
Yeah, right?
some weird reason. But we find out why later on, why he has the hearse, because he was like, he runs a gun store, why does he have a hearse?
Yeah.
But you find out very soon. So yeah, Tina's watching them drive off, so she goes in there and back into the station, is like wondering what the fuck happened. And then she realizes, oh, security camera. So what does she do? She watches the security camera and finds out, what, Lou's a fucking werewolf, and what the hell is going on, and what are they doing, and whatnot. And then she gets ready for war.
Oh yeah, she starts like fucking preparing.
Yeah, locked and loaded. And Aaron,
All right.
you can have fun for the next part, because this movie is just, it's literally a ride. It does not stop.
Yeah. So yeah, she's all armed and ready to go, armed to the teeth.
Literally.
Meanwhile, we got a group of piggies out with their guns, a bunch of rednecks. They're all like not armored, but like they have like thick jackets on and body armor and shit. And then the fucking trenchcoat guy comes up and he's like, "What the fuck you all dressed like that for?" And they're like, "You see what we're fucking doing?"
It's like,
he's like, "Just watch the perimeters."
yeah, it's like there's a freaking werewolf that's got super strength and will not die from anything.
But yeah, but yeah, so yeah, they were out to hunt, and then we got Lou. He's chained to a tree.
Yep.
And we got 3 cloaked figures. Turns out to be Jess, or the mayor.
Yep.
Willie, and Trenchcoat.
Yep. And Willie is the coroner.
Yeah.
And that's why he has the hearse.
So, oh yeah. Turns out they're all shapeshifters though.
Yes.
Because he sees them all like fucking change, and he's like, "What the fuck?" And then Willie's like, "Just so you know, I'm a shapeshifter," or something along the lines of that. And he's just like, "What?"
And then we find out that trenchcoat dude was also the sheriff or chief.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, okay, well, everything kind of makes sense now why he was a complete asshole.
So, anyway, Tina's sneaking around with her big ass sniper rifle, and she ends up shooting Eye Patch in his other good eye.
Yeah, poor man cannot catch a break. He's just fucking minding his own business, and she just sneaks up, and the one person she finds is fucking one-eyed man, and his eye, he doesn't just die. Like, you see, I think his eye like pops out or something, right? And it's like, what the fuck?
Oh man, she takes him out though, and
I love this movie so much, man.
It's great. Lou is starting his transformation, all trained to the tree. They're ready to fucking
yeah, because of the eclipse.
You know, yeah, it's the eclipse. So
they got 7 minutes. I think it's what they said on the radio.
7 or 8, yeah, something like that. But they're all surrounding him. They take a ceremonial sword and they impale him while he's on the tree, and they get like this chablis or chablis, whatever the fuck, I don't know how it's pronounced. Like a cup, like almost like the Holy Grail.
Yeah.
And they start drinking his blood. So then you get Tina. Probably a couple miles out back, maybe, behind them.
She's definitely
she's taking aim,
setting up shop.
Yeah, with her sniper rifle. She takes aim. She ends up shooting Willie, and then shooting the chain.
My dude.
I know, fucking Willie. Poor Willie, but he is a piece of shit.
Yeah, he is. But I mean, you liked him from the start.
Yeah, he was funny as shit.
That's what made me upset. It's like, why
do you have to be such a traitor, Willie? But yeah, she frees she frees him. He starts to transform, but he's only got 8 minutes, like as a wolf during the eclipse. So anyway, he goes on. He's fighting people, I believe, and Tina ends up approaching Jess. And she
who is now the mayor, I believe.
or the mayor.
Yeah, the old lady, whatever you want to call her.
Yeah, the
She's
old
like,
hag.
I guess, true form,
Yeah.
quote
I
unquote.
I was just calling her Jess just because that's what I knew her as. So.
One thing that did you realize though with the sheriff, like if he wanted to beat somebody, he would transform into the trench coat dude to have more strength.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. So it's strategic, but why would you go back to the sheriff if you wanted?
Yeah, just stay trench coat guy.
Yeah, so I was like, what's the point of going back and forth, you know?
Yeah. But yeah, so Jess ends up like taking her gun and holding Tina hostage. While Lou's fighting these thugs out in the woods. One by one, he's just like fucking murdering them, in classic werewolf fashion. So Tina and Jess they're fighting each other. And Lou ends up showing up, and Tina kills Jessica. I think she shoots her in like the back of the head or something.
Yeah,
like
it's
that,
very
right?
satisfying. All the kills are very satisfying in this movie. They're
yeah,
like watching arms get ripped off and like eyeballs being taken out of people's heads and then impaled onto like
the fucking wall.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. So, yeah, they're both like they're injured because well, actually, Lou is injured. But,
yeah, because
he's hurting. Tina's there.
Yep.
Then Trenchcoat comes back and shoots him with a fucking musket, assumingly because it was silver bullets, because it hurt him.
Yeah.
So
smart move. The only smart move that
is
people
that
have
like
done
a thing
against
with
him.
werewolves? Silver, like that's
Silver
like
is their like one like universal weakness.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Sorry. And they end up fighting. Tina breaks free and she impales Trenchcoat with the fucking ceremonial sword.
Yeah,
It looks dull as shit too, though.
Yeah.
You see the end; it's like very blunt.
Yeah. So I was wondering that too. I'm like, how he must be putting a lot of force.
Yeah, which makes it even worse. Like,
I'd
rather be stabbed by a nice, freshly sharpened knife than a butter knife.
Yeah.
You know?
I think it would make sense with Lou why it probably wasn't so easy because it was probably silver.
Yeah.
But with Tina, and then we also find out too that Tina's dad was also killed by these motherfuckers and was a werewolf.
He was a werewolf.
And that they were at the same spot where they killed him.
Yup.
So it all comes full circle.
Oh yeah. But yeah, these guys, the occult, they've been running the town for years. And you know, like you said, her dad was a werewolf too, or his dad. It's just history, you know.
Yeah.
It's been
I think it was like every 32 years or something. Like, he was writing it down in his notes earlier or something. It was like every 32 years, like the thing gets canceled. Like the drink and shoot gets canceled.
Yeah, because that was a pattern that they kept bringing up throughout the movie.
Yeah.
So yeah. But then Tina ends up breaking free and impales Trenchcoat. And then Trenchcoat stabs her.
Yep.
Lou finds some booze, which is like his motivator.
Yeah. Give me more strength.
Yeah, right. It's like Popeye with the spinach.
Yep.
And he comes up and he fucking
liquid courage.
Liquid courage, yeah. Liquid death.
Yeah.
So he ends up shooting Trenchcoat in the head. Lou turns back to normal. And then they start to just walk off. They're like, let's get out of here, and
that's
then
the end.
WolfCop 2 coming 2015.
Yes.
And then the end credits.
Yeah.
It was a very exciting movie. I liked it a lot.
It's going into it, not really expecting a lot. Like, oh, this looks really low budget, and like I don't know if I'm gonna like this, but you're like, dude, this is great.
Yeah.
There's a lot of action. It does not stop. The acting is really good. I think Lou is great. Like the way, like even his face was how it already is very perfect for the role.
He's very rough looking and
yeah. Everybody is really good. You kind of like everybody, but you kind of also
you're suspicious. Yeah.
But Willie, I think, steals the show a lot every time he's in there. Even when at the very end when he's like being killed, like he still kind of steals the show just because he's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Tina does really good. Takes a while for you to kind of like her though, because she's very
you're not sure how to feel about her at first. Yeah, she's very uptight.
Yeah, Jess, you kind of like, okay, like bartender, whatever. I guess she's cute, I guess. But yeah, this movie is very good. Like honestly, where are the comics? Where are the comics? Go to Dark Horse. write the goddamn comics. I want this because you already have like
a baseline.
yeah, and like superhero like aesthetics things. Like you have in movie items that I want to own.
Yeah.
I want to dress up as WolfCop. God damn it! Can we have a WolfCop costume, please? I would love that. Yeah. This movie deserves a lot more than what it's probably given, or people are giving it. It's super fun. I need to watch the other ones because I unfortunately haven't seen the other ones, and I do want to support everything that these people have done. So, Aaron, if you want to pull up how much this actually made, I don't know if this had if this was like a straight to like DVD.
Yeah,
thing.
I looked earlier. I couldn't find anything on the box office numbers.
I don't think this is a Shudder exclusive.
Yeah, I was. Hold on. Maybe IMDb has something on it. Details. It's from the Philippines?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Huh. Oh, well, showed first in the Philippines. Box office. California. Oh, Canadian money, $1 million estimated.
Okay, that's not bad. For the
know.
budget, that's not too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1 hour and 19.
Oh, that's pro. Never mind.
Huh? So that's not bad. If you guys want a quick watch,
they cram a lot into like a short movie.
Yeah, who's the director of this movie? Because I know he did some other stuff. I think he did Deathgasm, right?
Let's see, Lowell Dean, known for another WolfCop, 13 Eerie.
Maybe I'm
Kids
wrong.
Show.
Okay, maybe he didn't do Deathgasm, but I know it was something that was kind of recommended along this because it's kind of like the same vein.
Yeah.
If you guys haven't seen Deathgasm, it's pretty good. It's like a dude who's like obsessed with heavy metal and finds like a record and like gets possessed by the devil and shit. It's really good. It's really funny though. It's like this movie. It's got a lot of comedy.
But yeah, I really.
Yeah, 2014 was when this movie came out. Okay, so it came out in 2014, and they made a second one. It came out in 2015, and I think
was there a third one?
Yeah, I think there was a third one, right?
We did another WolfCop.
Oh wow!
2017.
Okay, so they did, I guess, 3. I don't know if it has the same actors in it though.
I think that's the same girl.
Yeah, is that the same Lou? I'm always curious to see if they recast people.
Oh wait, hold on. Let's find regular WolfCop now.
Just 1 second, guys. We're just searching along. I like to do this stuff kind of impromptu. Yep, it's the same. Okay, so they kept the same cast. At least, Lou and Tina are.
Yeah, the recurring important ones.
Yeah. What's the Rotten Tomatoes on this?
Rotten Tomatoes. So the tomato meter, 65%.
Okay, that's pretty damn good.
And then the audience score, they gave 46%. And that's,
I don't understand. How many?
That's 500 plus ratings too.
Dude, I need to go. We need to start doing this a thing. Every time we review, I keep forgetting this to go into Rotten Tomatoes and leave a review.
Yeah.
It's something that I need to start making a habit of.
Me too.
Just because these movies deserve a lot more than like what they're given.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's pretty much it on WolfCop. It's very straight to the point. It's what you expect. It's a cop who's a wolf.
It's funny. It's got a werewolf sex scene in it.
Yeah, I mean, if you're into that, it's got everything for you.
I ain't gonna judge. Maybe a little bit. But yeah.
Yeah, I don't really think that there's really much else to say other than just if you guys want a fun night, especially if you have a bunch of friends over and you want to watch something kind of crazy that you've never seen before. If you like different werewolves and you like horror and like comedy or just like every genre put into one, because this is pretty much what this movie is. Definitely check this out.
Okay.
What about you, Aaron? Anything you want to add?
I think we've just about said it all. I mean, it's just overall, like I said, good experience. I thought it was really fun and it's a good quick watch.
It goes by really fast because of how much action and everything is in it. But yeah, I think that pretty much concludes today's episode. next week, well, this will be coming out on Wednesday. So on Saturday, we will be reviewing Chopping Mall, which I cannot wait to do that with you, Aaron, because
I'm
that
excited to watch
movie
it.
is great. And we're gonna try to, if we have time, to go see Candyman this week before Saturday. Um, I don't know if we'll have time to do a review on it. Maybe.
Maybe.
Unless
Might be
we,
able to squeeze one in.
if we do another double feature next week,
I
we'll
wouldn't mind
we'll
doing a
see.
double feature every like other week or something. You know.
That's fine.
We'll figure
And
something out.
maybe start adding in some of the other things we're talking about. Like I really want to do that Horror 101.
Horror 101, yeah.
We'll probably call it something else because I think someone already has a podcast called Horror 101.
Yeah.
So I'll have to kind of brainstorm on that. And I also want to do like a midweek just chatting session here on Twitch. So make sure you guys are over here checking us out on twitch.tv/thebaronshideout_podcast. And once again, if you guys are a Patreon, you will be getting these episodes early, a day early, compared to everybody else who gets it the day after. So all you have to do is pledge $1, and it helps support us and lets us kind of upgrade everything. Like we want to get a new camera. We already got some new mics, so I think we're pretty good on that. We have a bunch of revamp stuff, so
Yeah.
anything helps, guys.
Good.
But I think that pretty much concludes this episode, and this was the Baron's Hideout podcast. I was your host, Dustin.
And I was your host, our co-host, Aaron.
And we'll see you guys next week. Take it easy, guys. Stay spooky.
If you dare.